All right. Okay. So what we have done in the last session is we did go through the role section. Okay. Uh, which is on 19 November 2020. Okay. We understood what are the types of the roles. We have as well seen the differences between them. Okay. And we as well did a quick creation of each type of the role and as well understood how they look like on the UI. Okay. So this is one major utility in Saviynt or a feature in Saviynt as we kind of understood in the last class, wherein uh, any role-based access can be controlled via this feature within Saviynt. Okay, so every vendor may have its own name. SailPoint may have a different name. Saviynt may have a different name, but mostly in general, in IAM, you do RBAC through meaning roles utility. So that's the purpose of it, and that's how it would look like on the UI as well, which we have seen it in the last session. Okay. So now today, yeah, I mean, you have any questions from the previous session by any chance, or can we continue?
No, actually, that's what from my previous class. Remember, I wanted some help on the error handling for connectors. So when we configure connectors, right?
Yeah,
Uh, so one is like if there is any error in the connector, where do we see that error? Where does that get logged? The location and everything, and also there was something called logger in the global configuration, right? So
correct.
how do we use that logger for specifically connectors or application onboarding?
See, okay, see if when you are on a other side of the table, right? So you're not working with Saviynt, you do not have that extensive exposure to logs. Okay, so and even the logger information was not present earlier. If it was, if you ask me, right, in the 4.5, 4.6 versions, or even the 5.2 versions, there was no logger information. So they have introduced this starting from 5.5, if I'm not wrong. Okay, and we'll go through that. Okay, I made a note of that particular point which I've asked for. Okay, we'll take an example. Okay, see if possible today. If not, like let me set it up and see like how does that look like, and where you can see the error messages or the general logging information. All right, so that's one thing. And second thing which I wanted to let you know is that there is see, there's no specific log file within Saviynt which will tell you uh, where, meaning which would say that only the connector errors would go here or the connector logs would go here. There's nothing like that. Okay, Saviynt
Mhm.
has four types of log files, which is debug, error, information, and there's one more. Okay, so all the information would get come and set. Let me show you that location. Okay, you may not have access to it in real time world, but okay, so these are the four different logs which four or five different logs which Saviynt kind of supports. Okay, and let me tell you this, you will not have access to this location. All right, because you are not sitting on a Saviynt seat, you are sitting on a partner or a customer side, right? Say for example, you are working for the customer directly. Okay, and you're implementing a Saviynt at your own organization. So that is one example. The other one is that when you're at a partner company of Saviynt, right? At these two stages, you would not be exposed with logs until unless you request for it. Okay, so again, that comes with extra cost and all, and it's a decision which the management has to take. Okay, don't go by my word, but that's something which you need to check with Saviynt back. Okay, one thing, as I said, this is just for your information again, right? All the logging information would come and sit in this particular file called as debug log. Okay, so if you see here, just as an example, right? Yeah. See, if I do any activity on the UI, okay, say for example, min, okay, say I clicked on list of users or I clicked on list of accounts. Okay, my accounts got displayed. I clicked on one account. So if I go back here, my log would get refreshed. Okay, so if I come to the end of the page, see. I mean, that particular activity would be refreshed here. All right. So Saviynt basically is very simplified application wherein the entire logs of the application would come and sit under a log file called as debug log.log. Okay. So that's the
Okay.
location wherein you need to check where your information would come and where your logger information would come and sit. Okay. So what is here is something which I need to clearly understand it. Okay, meaning like uh, let me see exactly which file they are talking about, because this is something different than what actually we used to follow. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'll check that and get back to you. Okay, all right. So that is one piece of information which I could kind of give it to you. All right. So yeah. All right. So that's with respect to loggers, okay, or the way Saviynt performs the logging activity. Okay, as I said, it's straightforward. And again, this location would vary depending upon your setup. Okay, at some places the log directory would be somewhere outside of conf or somewhere inside the conf or even deep down inside the conf. Okay, so you cannot exactly say that. Okay, again, that information you need to grab it from one of the resources from Saviynt who is supporting you in the project. Okay, but on a very high level, these are the log files which Saviynt has, and this is the debug log wherein much of the information would get recorded. Okay, so that's with it. Okay. Um, After this, so let's quickly check examples of or a use case wherein we are doing a role bulk import activity. Okay, and further check how that particular activity looks like after the import has been performed. Okay, so what I'll do, uh, yeah, what I'll do is that I'll copy the files which I have from. It's done. Okay. This is secured other stuff. This is my entitlement. Perfect. So I'll come back. Okay. So as we have seen the last time, there are two files. First, which is used to create the metadata. Okay. Basically, the definition of how the a role would look like. Its actual name, its display name, description, whether it is requestable or not, the role owner, as well as the rank. As I have a dummy user, I'm using the same kind of person in the role owner, and I'm keeping rank as one. And the type of the role which I'm creating is an enterprise role. Okay, so this could vary. Okay, this could vary based upon the type which you want to create. Okay, majority of the bulk uploads, as I said again, would be focused around enterprise role types itself, because firefighter roles would be very limited. Uh, as we understood in the last class, those are emergency accesses. So though those would be very limited, you can still create them manually or you can upload them as well. But as I said, if an enterprise is taking a route of a role-based access governance, then much of them would be an enterprise-based role. Okay. And again, right, so it depends upon your judgment, what is the best type of the role which can fit in that particular use case. So some cases we can go with application role, some cases we can go with firefighter, and some other cases we go with enterprise role. Okay. And again, it all depends upon the definition or your use case and the fitment of particular type of the role to your use case. Okay. So this is in place. Okay. I'm not doing anything here. As I said, basically, you can add. Okay, let me show. You can. These are the columns which you need to maintain. Okay. First of all, role name, display name, description, glossary, the role status, which is a mandatory field. Owner, you can have an owner or you cannot have an owner. Requestable, and the type of the role. Okay, I'll share the sample with you so that you can have it and try it out in your system. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing is the metadata of particular role. Okay, so what I have done here, I have further added few more details here. One, I'm picking up a role. Okay, and I'm saying that this role will have this entitlement inside it. Okay, so when I'm creating AMS team lead, my AMS team lead enterprise role will have this entitlement inside it. And this entitlement belongs to this entitlement type. Okay, and this entitlement type belongs to this endpoint, and this further belongs to this security system. Okay, so that's how your understanding has to be. Okay, so the previous file, what we have done, we have seen the types of the roles. Okay, types of the roles in the sense we have seen the metadata, which is a skeleton structure. In this sheet, what we are saying is what are the entitlements which can be put inside that particular, or how entitlements can be put inside a particular enterprise role. Okay, so basically these are the 4 5 columns which are mandatory for you to upload your or add entitlements to your role. Okay, you may have a question that say everything is positioned here. Okay, so the entitlement which I want to add because belongs to a entitlement type called as roles. Okay, say for example, electrician. Okay, so this is your entitlement value which you want to add to BI consultants. Okay, this, so what you will do, this will be roles, this will be same again. Okay, or this can be different as well, so this can be disconnected app. Okay, this can be disconnected app one, and your role can be same or you can have a different role name as well. Okay, something like this. All right, so this is a further drill down of how you can have multiple entitlements coming from multiple applications sitting inside each role. We discussed that example when we were creating the roles manually. So this is an example wherein you can have entitlements from different applications mapping to same enterprise role. Okay,
I have a
so
question here.
yeah,
Uh, can you just go back to the other Excel sheet? So yeah, so this has the
sorry, one second. Yeah,
this is a okay. This is a role, and Okay, and you are specifying all role types, everything over here. So this doesn't have the endpoint, right? There is no endpoint associated with the role.
No, no.
Okay. So can you show me the other Excel sheet now? Can you go to the heading? So this is entitlement role associations, right?
Correct. That's right.
Okay. So here you specify the security system and the endpoint. Okay. But how do you get the like this data structure, this data model? Like where you are saying that these are the fields that are required for the
You have to
uh,
get a sample from Saviynt team.
Saviynt. I need to look at their documentation.
You can either look at documentation or you can ask any of the partner support team to provide a sample upload file to you.
Oh, okay. But these are the only fields that are part of entitlement role association, or will there be other non fields or that can be part as well?
No, not here. Not here. So associations are the columns are limited in associations. Okay, because what we are only doing here is mapping an entitlement value to a role. Okay, we are not doing any other further activity. But when you're creating the role altogether, right, you can have custom properties as well here. CP1, CP2, CP3, for example, like that. Okay, so
Okay.
we talked about custom properties, right? Say I can put some dummy value inside custom properties, which I can use it at any stage, such as certifications or SODs or even a workflow example, right? So I can have custom properties here further, okay, but nothing further on the entitlement to role association, okay.
Okay. So in the other Excel sheet, oh, here only, sorry, this one only. Can you go back to that one? The other
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So if I say, for example, I don't have any endpoint as of now, so I can leave
Mm.
the endpoint section blank, right?
See, there cannot be a stage wherein there will not be any endpoint associated with an entitlement value, right?
Okay. So you're saying there should be an endpoint when we are doing that association.
Absolutely. See, again, right, I'll reiterate the point. I have an entitlement value, okay, called as, say, 5 lakh 14 or something. This entitlement value belongs to this entitlement type. This type belongs to this endpoint. This endpoint belongs to the security system. So that's how you have to understand the sheet.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So if you're saying that there is no entitlement value which I need to associate with this role, then you will not have this entry at all.
For that entitlement value only or the entire row?
No, see, okay, let's understand it like this, right? So you're saying that technical support CRM does
Mhm.
not have any entitlements inside it. Okay, then I can omit this entire row itself. Okay,
Okay, okay, okay. So
I need not to have
from where we got this entitlement values? Like there might be entire entitlements, right? So how do you get these values?
see, these values will be provided by the business to you.
Okay, so these are the numbers, right? So there should be a kind of a
It
mapping.
can be anything, right? It's a varchar. Basically, understand it as a varchar. Okay, so my entitlement value is a number. Your entitlement value can be alphanumeric or just numeric or even alphabets as well. It can be anything.
Okay, now I understood that point, but so this entitlement value should map to something in the system, right? So what is that mapping value to this value?
What do you mean by mapping value?
So now you are saying that for this Saviynt role, this is the entitlement value.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what is the inference I get out of this value? So when I look at this, what is the system understanding that what is 500000018?
See, that could see. Okay, uh, okay. Let me put it like this. This entitlement belongs to this endpoint. Okay, that point you have got it right. So
Mhm.
this entitlement value will have some significance on the target side. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Okay, see.
So
Okay, okay. Under again, right? We discussed this point in the last sessions as well, wherein we were talking about, say, DO's application or a group. You remember that? Meaning, you asked me why there is an application inside DO. So, see, I don't know what, say, for example, Facebook uses DO for, or Facebook uses one of the application inside video. I'm just taking an example here. Okay. So even at my organization, my current organization, for example, okay, I'm doing this mapping because customer has asked me to do it, or the application team has asked me to do it. Okay. Let me tell you a wider picture, right? Let me tell you a bigger picture than this. Okay. Uh, what is a utility? Let me give you a business use case, then we can come down and understand how this kind of structure is. Um, okay, so SAP is one of your applications. Okay, that's a very good example. SAP is one of your applications.
Mhm.
The SAP team tells you that okay, whenever a user gets onboarded, assign him 10 entitlements belonging to 10 different SAP instances, or from one single SAP instance as well. For example, okay, they'll say that these are the list of entitlements which are to be assigned to a user, that they'll tell you. Okay, and you need to ask them as well. Okay, you would not get this sheet ready made anywhere. Okay, this you have to sit down and prepare it, because the business will not understand Savient's terminology, right? You are the person who has to communicate it to the business, saying that okay, this is how we can model it, or this is how we can structure it, and this is how it would look like in Savient. Okay, so when you approach a business, you have to tell them that, okay, let's follow this role based access provisioning, wherein we'll create an enterprise role. That enterprise role will have set of 10 entitlements inside it. And you tell us what are those entitlements which are to be assigned to a user whenever a user gets created. Okay. So that's one approach how you kind of take it to the application team. Now it's a work of application team to come back to you to club all those entitlements into respective roles. You will tell them that give me all those sets. See, okay, there'll be like 5 sets, each set having 10 entitlements inside it. Okay, so they'll give you 5 sets of each set having 10 entitlements inside it, and each set represents an enterprise role in Savient. Okay, now you have the raw data with you. What you will do, you'll come back to Savient, take a dummy file, take an example file, create something like this, what you're seeing on the screen right now. Okay,
Okay.
all right, yeah. So you create this, all right. So till here is your skeleton structure, or till here is something which you're creating the feed files, all right. Now I will not go and ask SAP team what does 5,17 mean, or what does this entitlement do, or what is the use of this, or like why should I put it here. I'm kind of least bothered about it, because it's their headache to manage that entitlement from their side. What's the activity of Savient is, we have to provision this entitlement whenever a user gets created as part of an enterprise role. Okay, so I'm not going to question business that why you're giving me a numeric entitlement value, or why you're giving me an alphanumeric entitlement value. I'm never bothered about it. Okay.
Oh,
This entitlement may give certain access to them on a target. Okay.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a kind of a real time, meaning a proper use case for you, wherein they will give you some, meaning they will ask you to perform something. You need to come up with a model which to fit in the enterprise role structure inside it. Okay, so sometimes you may not even use enterprise roles. Okay, if the volume of entitlements which are to be assigned are not very huge. Okay, we'll see that example when we are doing a birthright provisioning. All right, but here currently, uh, as we are talking about a RPAC model, so this is how things would look like for you. All right. So
Okay.
what entitlements do, or what is the significance of entitlements? I don't care. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. So now let's upload the file again. Okay. We have. So what I'm going to do, put role assistance or role management. Okay. So here this tabs are to be changed again by Savient. Okay. So they are a bit confusing, but the two things which you need to remember here is, we have, when you're creating a role manually, you have to come here and create, which is a role create option, which we have seen already in the last session. Okay, here what we are going to see is that there, okay, again, when you're importing roles and its metadata, you have to use two separate tabs. For importing the roles, you click on sorry, where is that? Yeah, you click on role upload via role management. Okay, so I come here, I select my metadata file. Okay, my delimiter is comma, create role owner. If it doesn't exist, I put it as yes. First row has heading, I put it as no. Okay, or sorry, yeah, I put it as yes. Okay, I'll do an upload and preview. Okay, so whatever the columns we have, that would kind of get populated here with it, with the first 5 6 rows. Okay, so this would be my role name. Okay, this is my display name. This is say role description, for example. This is glossary. This is role status. Okay, requestable, have it as true. Role owner, role rank, and role type. Okay, see, there's a mistake here if you observed it, right? My column headers are coming up like this. So let's do a re-upload of the roles. Okay, so I'll come here, upload role, select the metadata file, comma, create role owner, I'll put it as yes. First row has heading, I put it as yes. Okay, upload and preview. Okay, now that first row has gone. So what we are doing now, again, we'll select the proper columns here. Our first, see, okay, again, right? So your understanding should follow this pattern. My first row is my role name, not this, sorry. Yeah, my first column is my, oh, come on. Yeah, my first column is the role name. Second one is display name. Third one is description. Fourth one is glossary. Okay, so when display name, third one is description, and fourth one is glossary. Okay, so as I have the same value across all the four columns, I can just select them randomly anywhere, anything. But when you're doing a real-time role upload activity, so this could vary. Okay, so my role status is mapped, requestable state column is mapped, role owner is mapped, role rank is mapped, and role type is as well mapped. Okay, what I'll do, simply I'll come and click on import now. So let's see what happens after this. Okay, so my number of roles which are created are 20, role owners which are mapped are 20, because for every role I have put a role owner so meaning alongside with it. Okay, so that is the role owner. I'm not mapping any entitlements. There is no other activity which I have done here. Okay, or there are no role owners which I'm kind of creating them or anything. Okay, so this is perfect now. Now let's go back to our list of roles and see what has happened there. Okay, so if I click on this, okay, so all my 20 roles are created along with the 3 additional roles which I have, which we have manually created, if you remember. Okay, so you see this, all my roles are created. Okay, let's pick one role and look at the example of it, or let's look at the metadata of it. Okay, so we have put role name, description, the display name, glossary, so those are updated. We are saying the role is an enterprise role, that is updated. Okay, and we are saying the requestable value is true. Okay, there will not be any entitlements here because we did not upload the associations for these roles. Okay, so is it clear here?
Yeah, I'm clear here. Can you share me these Excel files that you have with me?
Absolutely, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it on the same machine that you are demoing me. I can pick it from there.
Okay, you have access to the same machine?
Yes, yes. This is 251. Yeah, yeah, I have it.
Okay, cool, cool. Okay. So the other thing, what we are doing is uploading the association. So one we have done an upload of metadata, we are doing an upload of associations as well. Okay. Associations will give you more options. We'll check them as we kind of upload the document or the CSV file. Okay. I selected my associations file. Okay. Check security system if you have to create it. I want to create the security system because this security system doesn't exist. Dummy SAP app doesn't exist. How you're going to check that? Just copy that, come to the list of security systems. You can cross check it from here. Okay, say I do not
I
have anything called as,
I have a question here. So why
yeah,
do we create a security system? Because basically security system is the logical idea, I mean, identity at the topmost level, right? So
that's
why
right.
also part of the one more security system?
See, this entitlement which I'm mapping, right? This entitlement is nowhere there in the system. So I'm going to create all of these right now. Okay. I don't want to
Okay.
sit down. I don't want to manually sit down and create a security system endpoint, entitlement type or value. Okay, because I know that role upload supports creation of security system endpoint and type. So I'm simply going to dump the file into system. So the Saviynt features which we are seeing right now will create the respective entities for me. Okay,
Okay.
so I
What
can,
if I
yeah,
what if I get one more batch of file from the customer saying that you upload these associations as well? But now I have already created an endpoint. So I will get fresh entitlement values to be uploaded now for each and every roles now. So already the security endpoint exists. So in that case, I should just turn off the security system here.
exactly. Exactly,
But,
that's right. So in
but if
that
I
case, well, you're going to turn this off. Okay, simple.
if I turn off, right, the new entitlement values for new roles that I'm trying to upload now, how those will be mapped to that dummy uh, security system that we created previously.
See, you're mapping entitlement value to a role, correct? You're not mapping
Correct.
entitlement value to security systems.
No, I'm not mapping, but I have an option to create a new security system for the first time, right?
See, usually, okay, that is right. So you can create it for the first time. Why am I doing it here is I don't want to create them manually. So that's why I'm just
Yeah,
creating the,
yeah, I got that point. But now I have one more fresh file which I got from the customer,
yeah.
and those have again roles and new roles and new entitlements, but they
Hmm,
should be again part of the same security system that I created in my previous iteration.
okay, okay.
So how do I do that in that case? I mean, I
No,
have
see,
to.
no. See, roles and entitlements do not belong to security system. What I mean is that, see, my purpose of describing that particular associations sheet was to you because this entitlement belongs to the security system. See, for Saviynt to understand where, what, or from where this entitlement value belongs to, okay, or from where it has to pick this entitlement value. So, for example, in Saviynt, there will be 8 entitlement values with the same name. If you're not mentioning a security system and endpoint here, how will Saviynt know which entitlement value to pick it up?
Okay, so I have slightly, I will change my question here. So I already have a security system called Dummy SAP app. Okay,
Hmm.
and I get a fresh request from the customer saying that these are the new data that needs to be uploaded, the role name and entitlement values.
Hmm.
So you upload that into your system. So when I
Hmm.
do that, I
Hmm.
can put still Dummy SAP app in the security system column. Is that fine? Or because it's already exists now in the system, right?
Okay, Sudhir, you have to understand it like this. Again, I'm reiterating the point, right? You have to put these values here because Savient has to understand that this entitlement value called as 5 lakhs 12 belongs to these security system and endpoints, which is supposed to be mapped to this role. Okay, you have to do this. To answer your question, you have to have the 3 columns here.
Okay, so but if the dummy SAP app security system currently does not exist, it will create it. If it exists, then it will just use that and map it, right?
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And again, you have to
No, I'm
play with the toggle
just
buttons
wanted to
here.
confirm that if it exists, it will not create, but if it is not, then it will create. I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you have to switch them off. Okay, you have to switch this off for the second time.
Okay. Okay, just
So
a slight out of box question. If the security system already exists and still I keep it turned on, so what will I get an error? It will not upload it
you, have,
successfully.
you try it out. I'll not tell you that. You try it out when you get time.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm creating. I don't want a role owner. I am switching the first thing as heading perfect. So what I'm doing, as I said earlier, I do not have that security system. I'm creating that. I'm creating the endpoint. I'm creating entitlement type. I'm creating the entitlement value as well because none of the four elements exist with me. Okay. So I'm going to do an upload and preview.
Okay.
Right. So what this is my role. This is my security system, endpoint, entitlement type, and entitlement values. Okay. So I'll do an import now. So parallelly, just to give you an example, right, as we were discussing about the logs and stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's finish this and go there. So you can see the statistics after the import. It has not created any roles, zero. Okay. Security system created is one because I did not have that security system with me. I created an endpoint because I did not had that. Again, same with entitlement type. The system has created 25 unique entitlements because they were not existing in the system. Okay. And it had created around 40 role to entitlement mapping. All right. So this gives you very clear indication so that you can cross check your contents in the feed file versus what has been uploaded here. Okay. So that's a method of how you do a validation. Okay. Instead of going to each and every role, you can do that as well. But here quickly tells you the statistics wherein you can cross check how many role entitlement associations are there in your sheet, how many entitlements are there, etc. and all. Okay, let's quickly do that validation on a high level. Okay, so how many I have? I have 40. Okay, this was something which extra we have added it. I didn't upload the this particular sheet, but there are 40, so that is perfect. And there will be 25 unique entitlements. Okay, if I remove the duplicates. Okay, so there will be 25. Okay, so that perfectly matches with what we have uploaded. Okay, all right. Now let's go back to the roles. Pick one role and see how it looks like. Okay, or how the contents of that particular role are. Okay, so AMS test lead. Let me open the associations. Has two entitlements inside it. Okay, so if I expand this to a filter, so I'll pick AMS team lead. AMS team lead has got two entitlements called as 12 and 10, correct? So now let's cross check what is there in AMS team lead. Okay, so this is my AMS team lead. Okay, if we go to list of entitlements, say I have two entitlements here. Okay, uh, which is perfectly matching to what we have uploaded. So I'll open this. This should belong to dummies app. See, this belongs to dummies app. It has got its position mapped. It has got its security system map perfectly. Okay, so that's how the bulk upload activity of roles will happen. All right. Any questions here?
No, I'm fine.
Cool. So this finishes the role upload activity and as well the topics which we wanted to cover under the roles. Okay. So this we have covered it on 21 November 2020. Perfect. Okay. So before I wrap it up, I'll just reiterate what we have done. We have covered the types of the roles. We have done them manually, each type of the role. Okay. We understood the differences. What is the significance of each type of the role? And we have also looked at a detailed example of role bulk upload activity. Okay. So the files are there on the system, Sudhir, in the documents, so you can pick it up from there. Okay. So I have put
Okay.
them here in documents on the system. Okay. Don't touch this. You can create a copy of it and upload it if you want, but don't disturb these.
No, no, I'll just create a, I'll rename to a different files and I'll use that one,
Yes.
not this one.
Yes. 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 Perfect. So that is it. Yeah. Before we close, do you have any questions? We can spend some time. We still have kind of 10 more minutes. We can spend some time if you have any other questions, or we can wrap it up if that is okay.
Um, I have one, I have two, I mean, couple of questions. So, regarding this lab, right?
Hmm.
So I see I am actually still struggling with configuring the connectors because this system, this lab that I have here, doesn't have the DB installed properly. When I try to connect to the DB through MySQL Workbench, it throws an error.
Sorry, what you're
That's
doing?
the So I'm trying to connect to the MySQL
Okay.
using the DB connector.
Okay.
So when I open the MySQL Workbench, I want to create some few tables over there
Okay.
and add new records and then do the import. But when I was trying to connect, right, I'm not sure whether I typed in the proper password or not. I don't have that password information also available as part of that lab, and I'm not sure how to log in into that MySQL and create the records that I need for the DB connector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, but why do you want to do that?
No, I'm just trying to. I mean, the first class that I had, I think we had the DB connector example showed to me. So I was
Okay.
just trying a few more records and try to do the import and also try to fail the connector in different scenarios so that I can see like what kind of errors that I might get and how do I resolve that. So I'm just looking into those angles because my current assignment is mainly revolving around connectors.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. See, DB connector, I think was already set up by the previous
No, it
person,
is set
right?
up.
I mean, the previous.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is. But I need to insert new records into the table where from which I can do the import. But I'm not able to connect to that database and do that new records insertion over there and then try this one more time.
See, you can just go to the workbench and open the workbench, right? Let me reopen it again. So yeah, you have workbench here.
What is the password?
No, I cannot tell you the password.
Because I don't know like how I can connect them. When I click on that connection over there, right? It asks password for me.
No, no,
I'm
it
not
should
able
come
to,
up. No, it should come up directly for you. It should not ask any password.
no, it is asking for me. I mean, is there something different login that you use to this system?
See, I use my own login. The one which has been given to me by the institute, I just use that.
Okay,
So it
I
could
can.
vary. Yeah, it could
Okay,
vary for you.
so in that case, then I mean, password would have been saved for that login which you might be using, and I am not able to connect when I use my login.
See, I can share the screen and give you control if you want to do it on your own from here. But passwords are something which I need to check with the institute and get back if we can share that or not. Okay.
Mm, okay, but I mean, it can be even stored in the vault or at least made kind of Windows authentication so that I can just click on
I
connect and
can,
then do.
yeah, I cannot install anything here, so that's unfortunate that I'm not able to do anything. It's asking for some admin password for me as well, meaning the whole system admin. So I asked the institute to give me that admin password so that we can install something. Okay. So let me figure that out. Okay. Or you can also have a word with Abhilash so that they can do something. But meanwhile, what I can do, I can share or I can give you control. Probably you can kind of do that if you want it. Okay.
Yeah, I can take the control, but again, like, see, I might take longer time. I want to try some different scenarios and
Mm-hmm.
then see like what types of errors that we might encounter when working with connectors. That's the agenda I have to look at. So that is one thing. And also I had one more question. So can we try any HR applications like SAP or Workday or any other, where I can do a SOAP or REST based connector implementation?
See, I already did a REST-based connectivity here for DO. Okay, We can discuss that when we are doing the ARS based provisioning for any application. Okay, so that's a later part of discussion, right? If we check this, so we have done till here. Okay, we have done
Mhm.
for the first part of building the identity warehouse. This is done. Okay, so we are getting into the access request system. We'll try to pick this up from Monday onwards. Okay,
Okay.
after spending some time on the logging. So once we come here, we will check that particular example of DO which I've created, which is a classic example of using two different types of connectors, one connector for import and another connector for provisioning. So that's one example which I've already set it up. I'm trying
So,
to as well
so
set up.
you have used REST or SOAP based connector over here?
You can see it here, right? It's a REST.
That's okay, REST based. So when you okay, so it's you have used it for provisioning, right? But when you want to do an import and you want to use REST connector, that also can be done, right?
It can be done, right? See, I am working out on an application called as Zendesk. Okay, it's an example one again. So this is a single application which does both provisioning and deprovisioning, or this is a single connector which does both provisioning and deprovisioning. So this is again another example wherein you can have REST as your connection type and do the import and provisioning part as well. Yeah, you can do that. I
Okay.
mean, see, has to be dealt using two different connectors. That's why I was using them. But if your target uses only one type of connection, then you can just have one connection. Yeah,
Okay. So now here you have used one for data import, that is a user import using the DO connection type, and for provisioning you have used REST connector, right? REST
that's
connection
right.
type.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay. So if I want to look at how that this REST connector is used with the DO, I can just click on that connection and go through all the details that you have keyed in to achieve this one, right?
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Don't
Okay.
change anything. Okay. But if you're going to change, I do not have a backup of the JSONs which I've created as well. So don't change anything. You can just copy that or just go through that from the connection details itself. But don't change anything. Okay.
No, no. I will just take a look at of these JSONs that you have created over here. And but see, again, I want to do one round of lab. That's my requirement, because I will lose touch if I don't do a try of an example. So that's where I'm
See, I'll
trying to
do the
look at.
explanation to you. Yeah, see, I'll do the explanation to you because I do not have much time and I have a lot of things to cover as well because we are running very slow. We are
No,
doing one
that's
topic
fine.
per day.
No, that's fine. You can cover the topics, but in my free time, right? And then after the class, I want to try one user import for DO or some other application. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for
Let's like
my
you
practice,
can yeah, you can start doing that once we cover these topics. Okay. So access request system is huge. Okay. As part of it, although I did cover your SAP HR earlier, SAP HR system earlier, but let's look at DO as an example of a connected application, and I'll explain you what I have done here quickly because again, as I told, right, each application has its own type of connection. Okay, so some may use REST, some may use multiple calls inside REST again. Some are very simple. So it varies from the type of application you're connecting. So I cannot talk about every flavor to you, but I can just take an example and show you how it is done. Okay. So
okay.
we will check DO. We'll check DO completely. Okay. Once we start the Monday session,
So
and
you have
from there on, sorry, go ahead.
you have a you have a DO account. I mean, you have created a trial account or something.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So is that something that I can create a DO account and try that as well, right?
You can do that, but that would be a duplicate connection,
I will
right?
delete it. The moment I try that, right, I will delete. I will clean. I will just keep this clean, no problem. But see, again, I have to do the labs also, right? Hands on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, see, labs you can do it when you're free, okay? And yeah, I mean you can.
I'll not touch these connections. I mean, whichever you have created, right? I'll not touch that. Maybe I'll for my for our understanding, I'll keep create it with my name as the prefix or a suffix at the end, so that we can delete it later.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure, sure. That's up to you. Yeah.
Because I mean, as we go, right, I think we are dwelling into more core topics. I just want to ensure that I at least do some hands-on with the so far collected, I mean, finish the whatever topics that are finished.
Yeah. I would suggest you do it in your free time because, okay, whatever we have kind of discussed till now, you can kind of practice it. But only request is that don't touch the existing content. As I said, you
No,
can
no,
put a prefix. Yeah. So you can put a prefix or suffix, and we can take up your questions on Monday.
sure. I mean, one more help, as I asked before, around the connectors, the error handling. So if you can give me some more information around that, that will be helpful.
See, Sudhir, I mean, I'm not saying we cannot do that, but uh, we are kind of diverting from the syllabus which we have, okay? Or else, see, we can put it like this, right? We can just do your use cases and just highlight some of the important topics in Saviynt as well. If you want, we can do that particular model as well, okay? Or if you want to kind of go through the topics of Saviynt, understand the product, that also we can do it. But we cannot do both of the things parallelly, right?
No, no.
Meaning,
No, my request is only for connectors and application onboarding, because my entire year is completely on connectors and application onboarding itself. I don't think I will be ever doing SOD or ARS or anything. Those things you can just give me a walkthrough. I can just learn those features available as part of Savient. But only with these two topics, I require some help from you. Like it will not be. I think only these are only two topics. I think it will not be much for you as well.
okay. Let's plan that. Okay, let's plan that, or we can do that as part of the access request system itself because that is important. Okay, so even if you forget or ignore sorts or any other topic, but ARS is important. So let's see. I mean, we can take another example of any REST application and try to integrate with Savient. Okay.
Using the connector.
Yeah, using the country definitely, right? REST or Google Apps or anything, right? We can do that.
Okay. Now, but again, like we can tie the connectors, but I am looking more around the error handling. Like if some error occurs around these connectors, right? So how do I, what type of errors that can occur? How do I resolve them?
Yeah,
Where I'll go to do that?
that's a very you asked me a question which has got like infinite scope inside it. See, I
No, I'm
cannot
just asking one or two examples. Like it's not like
see,
I
okay.
need to
Let me pick.
cover me
Yeah,
every error.
yeah. So let me pick Active Directory, right? So it's a very generic application which any enterprise integrates with. Okay. So I believe
Mhm.
you also might have a Active Directory or even Azure Active Directory, right? Azure AD. So at AD, if it's a on-prem AD, for example, so first and foremost, the issues would come up at certification installation, right? So you have an certificate, you need to install that. Okay. So if it is not correctly installed, you will get authentication issues during your connectivity. Okay. So that's one example. Second example, you're trying to pass null values during your provisioning activity. Okay, so in that case also your loggers would give you clear information that you're trying, there is a failure of provisioning activity, and it would display that particular key value pair. So Active Directory is mostly into key value pairs, right? So it would display that if you're passing a SAM account name and that is a null value going, it will say that SAM account name is null, something like that. Okay, that's another example. Third example is your user account or the service account which you're using at Active Directory will not have sufficient privileges associated with that. Okay, so this is a generic example across any connector, even for a REST-based connector. So your service account, if it doesn't have the respective access rights, right? So it would
Yeah,
fail the provision. It would fail the provisioning activity or even the deprovisioning activity.
yeah.
So that's
Just
another
these, just these kind of things only. Like only the generic errors I want to collect, but I don't want to delve into each and every type of error that we might get it. Like only say for example, now you're dealing with REST or
yeah.
SOAP connectors. So the one that you mentioned about the rights issue or the connection, if there is no sufficient privilege for the account when we are trying to connect. So those kind of things only I want to cover, and also where these errors get displayed. So when I run the connector right to the job
Mm,
panel control,
mm.
so when I click on trigger or something, it triggers, but it okay, sure, no problem. I mean, maybe like
You're
yeah, that's fine with you can take your time because I need some information around the loggers as well. So yeah, Monday we can have a class, no problem.
okay. That's fine. All right. Cool. Bye. Bye.